Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talking Upstream, a show where me and Dylan and his big old plate of taquitos and this whiteboard.
I haven't had lunch yet. I apologize.
You have already had lunch.
This is it.
You had taquitos for lunch also. Oh, you're okay. This is okay. That's fine.
It's a long lunch.
Anyway, Talking Upstream is our weekly show where, with over 90 minutes, what me and Dylan and obviously like some nobodies, what we like to get into, is showing people the way that we take a very stupid idea for a story and then work it down to something that could be pitchable, producible, manageable, makeable. Probably something that I'm going to try to get Dylan to make a podcast out of eventually.
That's right, Zach.
But yeah, when we call it Talking Upstream, because what we're trying to do is talk ourselves up to a streaming service, whether Netflix pays us, or Hulu pays us, or Disney Plus pays us, or Amazon Prime pays us.
Who knows?
Who would you prefer?
Let's just make our own.
Good answer. Let's make our own.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to give a quick shout out to IBM TV for having us on here and letting us just ramble for a long time about very fun stuff that we think is interesting. But before we get into our actual show, we have a great interview today. Yeah. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure you're doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm not so hungry as I used to be.
Not as hungry?
Yeah.
You were complaining about 10 minutes ago.
You could hear it.
Colorado invented that new color, purple, for their that spectrum thing. How do you feel about that? We're not in purple, but I mean, it's there.
You know, if you want to keep moving the goalposts, I guess you keep moving the goalposts.
It's field kicking humor, I think, or field goal kick.
Sure,
whatever.
Field goal kick.
We do have a great person we're going to interview today. We actually showed up on his show not so long ago and reviewed an awesome movie called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
We had a great time, and we wanted to reach out to our friend Tyler Shelton from the Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. So let's bring on Tyler Shelton real fast, please.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for including me on this this awesome opportunity, and just thank you very much for including me on this. That the very concept of my show is that I'm just reviewing movies, TV shows, video games, and actually very soon I'm going to be reviewing this video game right here, which is the one that I'm doing right now. It's Ghost of Tsushima. Have you guys played that one?
Oh, no, I've definitely heard of
it.
Yeah, have not played that one yet.
Well, so far, when it comes down to like PS4 games, I think this is just a really good primal example of how you can like close a previous generation and it's going to lead to the PS5. Like, I think this was just like a perfect way to end the PS4 run. It's a very beautiful game, and I mean, I'll leave you a more descriptive review for it when I have it done on YouTube. But if you ever want to find me somewhere, I'm Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. I also have an Instagram account. But back to you guys. I am looking forward to this.
Yeah, like I said, we were on your show where we reviewed Ghostbusters together, which is a great time right around the Halloween time. And I know that we've been watching your channel also. I know you recently reviewed Mandalorian and a couple other things. And Gladiator, which is a cool one. Now you're moving on to PlayStation. So why don't you give people a quick rundown of what your show actually is about?
Okay. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually diagnosed autistic. And I've been known for being autistic ever since I was 8 years old. But the main point about this channel is that just looking at just kind of like where I am right now, like if you knew me about like 20 years ago, I would be stuttering like crazy. I could not complete a sentence, but now I'm speaking so fluently. I'm doing this as like my own set piece. But I have a fantastic job. I am married to a beautiful wife. I have a daughter. I own my own house. And so I'm just trying to use my own successful story to kind of like give hope and just to showcase that there's always an upside for being autistic or if you know someone who is autistic. But I'm just trying to lend my voice on YouTube and on podcasting just to kind of give my own thoughts and opinions on video games, TV shows, movies. I grew up on that stuff for my entire life. And I just thought it'd be a good idea to do it like this, use my success story, give you my voice, and make it fun. So that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, well, we found out what your cause was, and we found that you were doing this for possibly kids that are autistic or on the spectrum at all, and you wanted to make sure that they had someone to listen to and someone to look up to. Who would you say is someone that you looked up to or that you kind of got into this being like, oh, I can be like that? Who's like a YouTuber or a podcaster that inspires you?
Well, when it comes down to the people who inspired me to do stuff like this, but like I'm sure you've heard of this one guy. He's like the most recognizable movie reviewer on YouTube. His name is Jeremy Johns, but he's actually from Washington here. But he's kind of like the guy that kind of, I mean, I don't know him, but like I've been watching his stuff for a while, and I'm all like, this guy likes the stuff that I like. We're both from Washington. And so I'm all like, let's see what this looks like. And so I was not getting kind of like the attention that I thought, but then after I rebranded, I then started to see like other people on YouTube, such as like Sean Chandler, where he's the guy that is Sean talks about movies. But I think the real inspiration behind this was actually a family who has known me my entire life, and they just noticed how much I love movies, video games, and TV shows that they're going like, hey, you should do this. You should do this on YouTube. And I'm all like, you're right, I should do this. And so actually one of the sons who is actually just 2 days apart from me in birthday-wise, he's actually a nationwide gem of a skier. He's actually participated in the Olympics. But
right on.
This family, I've known them my entire life, and they just really liked what I had to say, and they just give me that extra nudge to do what I'm doing right now. But when it comes down to like people who is in the spectrum, I think it has to go to Albert Einstein, just because like you look at this guy, he's like the most famous scientist in all of humanity, and he was actually within the same spectrum. So like, whoa. Albert Einstein was actually in the spectrum. And if he's able to do that, then I can do that. Then I can do this too.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to try to change people's perception of what autism is. I mean, you know, in the 80s and 90s, the movies that we're reviewing, they didn't really have proper words for it or a proper diagnosis for it. So it was treated and poorly and mismanaged. So for you to have, you know, this purpose, I think is super great. I do a lot of talking here, and I'm sorry. I should give it over to Dylan. If you happen to have any questions,
no, that's fine. No, I think that's how it goes. Yeah, I know how it is. No, it seems like you've got a great cause behind what you're doing. Is there like you've got a lot of pop culture stuff on your walls? Is there something you in particular are looking forward to talking about? Is there anything you might be saving for like a special episode down the way, or?
Well, there is actually one thing that I've always just loved. It's actually the Legends of Zelda. And for one thing, Legends of Zelda, I grew up playing all the games. The only games that I've never really played were the ones that actually came out before I was born. But my love for Zelda really came from Ocarina of Time. And I mean, not only that, like Ocarina of Time is considered to be one of the greatest video games ever made. And it was just a very revolutionary game at the time. Like, it really paved the way for like 3-dimensional RPG-like games. But when it comes to Zelda, I really, really want to see a live-action Zelda movie. I mean, I really do think that Zelda could look so great on live action. But like, the only thing that we ever got so close to The Legend of Zelda was Kubo and the 5 strings.
Oh yeah.
I think that was like the closest thing that we've ever gotten to a Zelda movie. But I'm actually very excited to see what these guys are going to do. But I always forget the name of these guys, but they're like a independent studio that they actually made this incredible 5-minute CGI video. They just did like this. It felt so photorealistic. It was so creepy. It was magical. I want to see a Zelda movie like that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you just type down Majora's Mask CGI cinematic movie, you could probably find it on YouTube. But just the music and just the rendering, it's beautiful. And cool. I want to see that so bad, but oh my gosh, the very thing that pissed me the most off was that that April Fool's Zelda trailer that came out like 15 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Oh dude, when I saw the trailer, I'm all like, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they said April Fool's.
Now, how do you feel about the? That was a tough April Fool's. That was almost like the same April Fool's when they announced the new Crocodile Dundee reboot with Danny McBride, and it was just a joke.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah. But at the time we're recording this, they just released the Breath of the Wild sequel, right? The one where you play as Zelda. Is that right?
It's like Hyrule Warriors or something.
The one, like the newest one.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about that game? Are you excited about that?
Well, I mean, I have played Hyrule Warriors before, the one that came out like 7 years ago. I thought that was just kind of like a poor excuse to squeeze in another Zelda game, but I'm actually looking forward to playing this one just because it feels like that this one's meant to be like a prequel game to the Breath of the Wild series. So like it feels like it's going to have more of that storytelling element. Yeah. And I think it's going to be awesome that you can actually play Zelda, because for a long time we've always played Link, but Link is not even the title character. But the fact that you get to play Zelda in this game, I'm excited about this, and it kind of makes me think like, are we going to get kind of like a Breath of the Wild Grand Theft Auto 5 for the second one? Because just the way that they promoted the Breath of the Wild 2, it looks like that Zelda is kind of equipped for you to play her.
Yeah.
So maybe you would just need to choose whether you want to play Zelda or play Link at any time that you want. But if that is the case, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to play Link with like the memory loss and that kind of thing. Yeah. But Zelda to me has always come off as just a straight up warrior, and I would rather play as her anyway. Yeah. She seems awesome. So you're a fan of pop culture,
especially in the recent years.
Yeah. So you're a fan of pop culture stuff, and I'm going to ask kind of a hard question when it comes to nerd culture. But do you have, or who in your opinion is the best Batman? The best iteration of Batman, whether comic, cartoon, movie, video game. Who portrays Batman to be the best?
Oh man, that's a real tough. Oh, that's a toughie. But you know what? I can at least tell you who are my favorite three. Okay. But there's Christian Bale, there's Michael Keaton, and Kevin Conroy. And so I think I'm just going to go nostalgic on this. I think it has to be Kevin Conroy.
Now, is Ben Affleck a close fourth?
I think Ben Affleck is kind of like in the middle of all the actors that portrayed him. Like, I would not consider him the best, nor I would consider him the worst. But to me personally, the worst is George Clooney.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton.
I agree. Timothy Dalton.
You know who I never hear people talk about when we ask him this question? Who? We've done this about like 5 or 6 times now.
Adam West.
Will Arnett as Lego Batman.
True.
Nobody ever talks about him. Not even bringing him up as a favorite. Ever mentioning him.
Yeah. And people don't mention Adam West either, which is very weird. But yeah.
Well, I do like Adam West. When you look at kind of like just those time period of what led to the Batman that we all know and love, because it feels like in the early years, Batman was kind of like a campier version.
Oh yeah.
But then when we aged it, it became being more of it like dark and campy. But now we're on full dark.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like for what Batman was. I mean, for what Batman was back in the days, I think Adam West was perfect. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
If George Clooney was in that time period, and if he played Batman, he might have been a better Batman.
Yeah, then because he does pull off the camp pretty well. I don't think people were ready for camp then.
It didn't. It's hard to follow up the Keaton movies with the Clooney movies.
Yeah, to regress back to that.
Yeah.
So like I said, no, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to mention that I do think that I think it's going to be on to the 5 for the trailer.
You're cutting out a little bit, Tyler.
Especially when you
Pattinson.
What's that?
You saw Pattinson.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we're having a hard time hearing.
Oh, it's okay. Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you stabilized.
Okay. Yes. But I do think that Robert Pattinson might end up being in at least the top 5 just because of trailer. See him just beat that guy to a bloody pulp, and he says, "I'm vengeance."
Yeah.
Yeah, and he definitely takes his role seriously. So I'm excited to see what he does.
If he's good as that right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like I said earlier, we were on an episode of your show where we reviewed Ghostbusters. And feel free to not answer this way. Mm-hmm. But what would you say is your favorite episode of your show?
Oh, that's a real toughie because a lot of them I really enjoyed all of them. There is actually one that is not on YouTube yet, but it's about to. It's going to come out tomorrow. But this one I actually reviewed Dragon Ball Evolution, and it's just one of those movies that is. I mean, you're just going to see us just bash on this movie so much.
Yeah, is this going to be one of your sarcastic review episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but, yeah, because we had a lot of fun watching your Fantastic Four one.
Yeah. But when it comes down to like the ones that I enjoyed the most, I would say that the Ghostbusters one is definitely like my top 3. But I think the one that I enjoyed the most was probably I mean, it's kind of an odd one for me, but I did enjoy doing my Sonic the Hedgehog review because it was actually the very first one I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But very soon I'm going to be starting my 2nd season, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like this podcast plus series where I'm going to be going back into like some of the old stuff that I reviewed, and it's going to be kind of like an updated version.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, revisited series are generally pretty fun to do.
Yeah, I think they're great. Yeah. What do you got next?
And, very soon I'm going to do an unboxing.
Cool.
Oh, right on. Now, I mean,
with the beard, you guys go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're going into a 2nd season. Do you see anything maybe like what a next step might be, or are you just trying to get Coffee with the Bearded reviewer like really solid before you move on to anything else? Do you have anything else like kind of in your sights for what might be next, or think you're going to hang out for a little bit?
Well, I do have my sights on probably just kind of like be more committed to kind of like the community that I already have, because I'm starting to build something of a rep on Instagram and a little bit here on YouTube. So what I'm going to be doing next is that I'm going to be doing several giveaways. And so like, there will be like, I'm going to see if I can do like a milestone of 2,021 followers on Instagram by the beginning of 2021. Then there's going to be like a giveaway for a PS5 game. And then there's going to be some cash rewards. But my main goal is to kind of like be more associated with community, because I think that's the number one important thing.
Yeah, I agree completely.
We should enter the cash one.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna enter all your contests. Now here's a question. So you review a lot, which means you probably consume a lot of media. You probably watch a lot of movies and a lot of television the way that we do. Mm-hmm. Do you ever get to a point where you start creating your own? Do you write your own stories? Do you ever create your own characters or anything?
I do. And actually, right now I think I told you guys a little bit about what I'm doing in creating a video game.
Well, go ahead, continue.
Well, in this video game, I mean, I'm just going to be kind of like vague about this because it's still a unfinished first draft, because I already have contacted a somewhat of a decent rep production business. I mean, they at least have made one really good game that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard about, but I'm not going to mention it. Sure. But let's just say that by sometime around the beginning of 2021, they wanted me to pitch the idea, and if they love it, then they're going to make a demo for us, and if that demo turns out to be really good, they'll make the game for us.
Oh, cool.
Right,
so I've been really... But that's been at least like the main goal that I've been doing. But I've been creating, just creating characters. Like I'm the illustrator, like I'm the graphic designer, and then I also have my best friend. He's really good on more like on literature. He's really good at writing, so he's doing all the writing for me, and I'm doing all the creative arts for it. So we're just helping each other out, and we're helping each other be accountable. We're just trying to make sure that like we're getting like where we need to go, but we still don't know what the title is going to be. I mean, for a while we did have a name, but it was not until I realized that someone already used that name. So I had to. I hate it. I hate it when that happens. So as of right now, it's just a game that I don't know what the title will be, but the main goal is that this is meant to be kind of like it's supposed to have more kind of like a cartoon feel of Breath of the Wild.
Cool.
More cartoonish.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Now, obviously, you're on a great show currently called Talking Upstream, and we were on a great show called Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. Is there a show that you would love to be on, to be like either a contestant on or a guest on? Is there a show that you watch that you'd be like, I wish I could be on this show?
Ooh, there is a few, but for when it comes to like, are you talking about like when it comes down to like, are you talking about like TV talk show hosts or something like that?
Yeah, like people's YouTube channels, either a viewer or a gamer or anything.
Yep. There are a few people out there. Have you guys heard of a guy called The Completionist?
Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's another guy that's all about having a sweet beard, and he does a lot of stuff where he's all about completing, like 100% completing all video games. Like he takes up to about like 200 to 500 hours per each game. Like he needs to get it all down. Jeez. Completely done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that for a living. But I think it would be awesome to like be part of his show. And then there's the likes of like Sean Chandler, and I always thought it would be pretty cool to. I mean, I know that it's not there anymore, but I still think it would be kind of cool to somehow have like maybe just like a talk with Jay Leno.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, that'd be great.
Yeah.
He asked you a question.
That's not a name I hear very often anymore.
No.
But another one that I think will be fantastic to talk with, I mean, he actually does have his own podcast, is Kevin Smith.
I'm working on being on one of his shows. He's like one of my idols as is. I'm an East Coast dude who made movies, and yeah.
That's one of the reasons Zach wanted to start doing this whole thing. Is that he's like, I'm going to talk my way into getting on Kevin Smith's podcast.
That's it. Yeah,
all right, man.
I want to get famous enough just to be able to talk to Kevin Smith. That's my only goal. All right, well, we're going to get into our portion of the show, but before we do that, I want to thank you very much for being on. We really appreciate it. We actually have a show on IBM TV called Gamers Den where they kind of go over a bunch of games and stuff, and you seem like a pretty big gamer, so I'll reach out and see if we can have you on that show because they go over a bunch of really cool video games. But until we get on with our stuff, do you want to go ahead and just tell people where they can find you, where they can see you, where they can listen to you, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said before, I'm called Coffee with a Bearded Reviewer, and you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. I actually just got the Twitter not long ago, so I'm still working on that one, but you can definitely find me on Instagram. That's where I have most of like my traffic. But you can look me up. And it's spelled Coffee with Bearded Reviewer, and you just include a period in each between words. Yeah, you can also find me on podcasts as well. You can find me on Anchor, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Yep. And it's called Coffee with a Bearded Reviewer. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. And like I said before, that I'm just all about showing that there's no time for being autistic, that autism is not a disability, but it's a privilege.
Now that's so cool, man. I really appreciate you and your message. That's super great.
It's a great project.
Yep. And if you ever want us back on your show to review anything, let us know. We're definitely down. And Dylan's trying to grow a beard so we can do your show.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get on with our portion of the show right now. So what we do here, obviously, is Dylan's going to pitch an idea to you, a very simple idea, and I'm also going to pitch an idea, and then you get to choose which one you want to see us work on, and then we'll spend the next hour doing that.
Yeah.
So
sounds great.
Dylan, which one do you got today?
So it's convenient you brought up Jay Leno because I'm resurrecting an idea that was passed over several times.
Ooh.
So this was, I'd imagined it as a little mini series or a web series or something where it's a spider in a web.
Web series.
Totally intentional. Where it's a spider who hosts a talk show from his web with the insects he's about to eat. So he wraps up an insect and he like interviews it about what insects are like. And then it always ends with like, so are you going to let me go? And goes, well, no, say what you want to the kids back home.
but
and then
but I got to eat. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, dude, I'm excited to work on that one.
At some point, someone will choose it.
I like the name web series.
Web series.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so you can choose between that one or the one that I thought up that I would like to see, and I don't think I've seen it before, but I like the idea of magical families, such as like the Malfoys or the Weasleys, like people that have been magical for a very, very long time. And I would like to see what happens on the day that they no longer can use magic. So it's like very affluent families with long histories of magic on the day that they can no longer wash dishes with magic, open doors with magic, use the Flu Network, use wands at all. So
it's like Arrested Development, but with wizards.
Yeah, it's like what would happen if they can only use magic and they can no longer. So we're gonna just say wizard, non-magic for right now. Okay, so the task that you have. Would you like to see us work on a show that actually it's really cool? Would you like to see us work on a show that is a spider interviewing his prey in a, I guess like a kids talk show kind of thing? Yeah, like informative. Or you can let us work on a show about wizards when they are no longer allowed to use magic.
Oh man, so you know what? I actually don't think those are two really good ideas. Like with the web series, I really do think that you can definitely make it more kind of like on the comedic side, because like it really reminds me a lot of maybe like a blend of Saturday Night Live meets Jay Leno's Tonight Show, like maybe like like I could definitely see like just a lot of different kinds of insects that is getting caught in the web. And maybe like whoever wants to take on the spider, like they all have to like they will meet the dire fate if they fail at like not having a good talk with the spider. But if they do have a good talk with the spider is like, you're free to go. I think that would be pretty fun. I think that would be pretty funny, but you know what? I think when it comes down to kind of like my nostalgic sense, I really like the wizard non-magic idea. Like, I could definitely see something like that really happening, because like when you like, since I'm a guy who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so like I grew up watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friends, Seinfeld, like Modern Family, The Office. Like, there's a lot of really great comedies out there. So like, I could definitely see the Wizard Non-Magic show be kind of like a comedy / family friendly show. Like I could probably see it be more on like maybe kind of like the Fresh Prince meets the Addams Family in a way.
Oh, cool! Yeah, okay, I like that. So, are you choosing the wizard? Are you choosing the wizard?
Don't you lead him on?
Now, come on.
I think when it comes down to just kind of like what I would like to see, I think it has to be the wizard non-magic. Just because that, like I said before, is that I grew up watching a lot of TV shows when I was young, so it will already make me feel nostalgic.
Yeah, love that. All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You made the correct decision. As always, my ideas are better. Okay,
so over here doing actual work to hear you gloat.
You're on Facebook. That's not.
I'm not on Facebook.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so Tyler, for the next hour, we are gonna sit here and work on whatever this wizard not being able to use magic show is. So if you like to, you can hang out and work on this with us and kind of give us some ideas, but you are not required to. So if you do want to leave, that's totally cool. And I really appreciate you and your time and your mission. Mm-hmm. Were you going to stay out for the full time?
It looks like I can go up to about like 20 more minutes.
Perfect. Well, whenever you need to leave, go ahead and feel free to go ahead and leave.
Just let us know.
Yeah, we'll make sure we talk about you again at the end, and we'll push people to your show.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into this.
Okay.
So before we do that, just want to throw another quick shout out to IBM TV for having us on every single week. We appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. You guys are helping us keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Right, to say it on the commercials.
That is what this is.
And a couple of people that really help make this show a thing. Listener app, if you do listen to podcasts and you want to have transcriptions or want to hear some of the stories that people say and you want to remember that, feel free to go to listener-app.com, or you can check them out on Instagram at The Greatest Podcast App. We have our friend Tanya Sheck, we have our friend Sarah Tkachik, and Scott Curtis with his awesome show called Behind the Bits.
Oh, yeah.
So we definitely think that if you like comedy or if you like interviews, he actually just won an award for best podcast, best interview podcast. Yeah, best interview podcast. We were on there as well. So when I
attribute some of that success to us.
Yeah, that's definitely our fault. But those guys have made all of our shows possible, so we want to throw a quick shout out to them. Okay.
Yeah.
Wizard show.
Yeah.
Do you think this is like a sitcom, right?
I'm seeing sitcom.
It definitely feels like a sitcom.
I got really strong Arrested Development or Schitt's Creek vibes from when you were describing it.
All right, so we're going to do a sitcom. I think that makes the most sense. Good.
Yeah, it makes the most sense just because, like, especially just kind of like how you already how you pitched the idea about the non-magic family. Like when you hear about family and that they're actually losing their magic powers, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit more on the humor side. But I do think it might have some like dramatic moments here and there.
I agree.
I'm assuming.
So we're going to do this as a season 1 timeline.
Is this a 22 episode? With some caveats.
Yeah.
A 22 episode season, 22-minute show. We don't need to pace out every episode, but what we're doing is laying out an arc for the season.
Yeah.
So that we kind of know where things go. And then every episode has like a weekly joke, something like that.
Cool. Yeah, love that. And I think, like what Tyler said, it gives a nostalgic feel. So I feel like we should kind of make it look like a 90s style
like
show.
Like a single camera sitcom where it's a very clear set.
Yes, maybe like a laugh track.
Everybody sits on one side of the table at dinner.
Yep. And this is maybe even like, and this is pre-Harry Potter too, so people don't have a lot of the references that whatever. That way we can make some of the same jokes.
Oh, and you know what? Maybe they might have like a mystical creature that is like the only magical thing. So maybe it could be like like a pet.
Yeah,
it'll be kind of like with the Flintstones with Dino.
Yeah, or like Sabrina and her cat.
So you said
so maybe I was kind of thinking that maybe it could be like a little mini dragon or maybe like a magical lizard.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, you said the Malfoy, so I'm imagining it's not going to be a very nice creature. What if it's just like, they never use the garage because they don't have a car, so they keep the dragon in the garage, and every once in a while they'll raise the door and there'll be like out a fire or something.
Yeah.
And they have to like throw like food in there or something. Yeah, and you never actually see it. It's like, don't worry, that's just the dragon in the garage.
So like 90s style, just the garage opens and just a puff of smoke comes out. Dude, I love that. Oh, that's great. All right, so
it's very clearly an indoor set for the backyard.
Yep. Perfect. All right, so we got large.
Yeah. Actually, that maybe whatever the magical creature is that maybe you can actually just only hear its sounds, kind of like what the Big Bang Theory did with Howard's mother. Like you don't see it, but you can hear it, and you can definitely feel that there's a presence of it. Maybe like this could be like a running gag that someone looks through the door and they're going like, "What you doing?" And then you just hear the lizard go like, "Rat."
Right. Yeah.
Someone walks in, they're covered in soot. And like, it's your turn to feed him next week.
Or every time they open the door, just fire comes out a little bit. Yeah, that's so great. All right, so we're gonna work on our characters.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I think just kind of like how the running gag is with.
Yeah, that's awesome. So funny.
Yeah, I think having some running gags would be good for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing a nuclear
I do think
family?
That there should at least be like the parents, maybe like. I do think that we should at least have parents. I mean, like, I think it would be a good idea if we can at least have like one son and one daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're just kind of like. That way, you got characters that everyone can relate to.
Oh yeah. So we got two parents, we got two kids, and a pet.
I think we need one more actual like family member. And I think they should be a remnant of their previous.
Oh,
like maybe
like a grandparent.
Maybe
uncle, or maybe it could be like a Uncle Dracula.
It's their great grandfather who's still alive because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So great
X whatever.
Great uncle Vamp.
Vance.
Yeah, there you go.
Vance, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And he has like one of those chairs that like slowly goes down.
And maybe they should have like a yeah. And maybe they can have like a next door neighbor that they interact with.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I think they should have at least one mundane person who finds out at the end of the first episode, etc. And then they're kind of they're the neighbor kid who comes over.
Yeah.
And they're constantly being put in danger.
Yeah, but the neighbor person is aggressively non-magic. They've never been magic, never will be magic.
So are these people
I think
who have lost...
I think it'll be a good idea if we... I think it'll be a good idea to at least keep a little bit of magic. That maybe that after a certain amount of magic that each of them do, that they reach a limit and they are no longer magical. They're just now like regular people. Like we would see some magic in the first season.
Yeah, reading my mind, Tyler. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting. Our videos are just in sync right now.
But yeah, like I think when it comes down to the second season, that's when maybe like only one character has magical powers left, but everyone else lost theirs. Maybe because of like a dramatic moment that happened in the finale.
I was thinking they don't lose their magic, but they are punished for some reason by the magic government or whatever, and they're put on a really strict magic ration and forced to live in suburbia.
Oh, so magic house arrest.
They can do magic, and like maybe the father is very used to like using magic to stir his coffee, and they walk in, they go, "You can't do that. That's 3 hours of magic you just used."
Oh, so
I have to do my homework.
Cut down. Nice. Okay, cool.
They're kind of a really strict ration.
Yeah, I like that. And then throughout the season, they'll slowly just lose the magic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great.
They have to slowly start being extra like judicial about how they dispense it.
Yeah. So episode 1 is going to be clearly just them in their element, full magic, full arrogance. They are rude like the Malfoys, right? So,
well, I don't think it's. I mean, we this is a character. This is going to be a family that we are going to watch. So I think it'll be a good thing that we should at least have like one person that we would not like so much, but then by the end of the season, we're going to like them because of what they had to go through. But I do think we need to have like this family that we can actually enjoy and we actually like them. But like there might be one character that we're going like.
Yeah, that's cool. I was thinking more like along like Schitt's Creek, where they're all likable in their own way, but at the beginning they are all terrible people that they have to grow to become good people. And I think
I like that.
the same way Schitt's Creek like took advantage of their money, they took advantage of the fact they had magic until it was gone, and then they had to realize what it's like to just be a human again.
I think if we pace this very similarly as well, where the first 5 minutes we show them at like a gathering of some sort, and then maybe the father's about to give a speech because it's some sort of like work, some office, magic office, like industry awards or something.
Yeah.
And they get arrested for something.
Yeah, love that. So very similar to Arrested Development, episode 1. So, but yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. They shouldn't be hated people. They need to be somewhat likable, but also wildly distracted with their normal, what they think is a normal life. Okay, so episode 1 is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was actually thinking about that maybe like when it comes to the children, that the brother and sister, they can have like their own little arc where they. Have you guys ever watched Young Sheldon?
No.
Okay, well, in Young Sheldon, there's Sheldon Cooper and his sister, but they're just kind of like the misfits of the family. They're kind of like those oddballs. But maybe we can have like kind of like that same where the children are kind of like oddballs, that they kind of have their own arcs together. That maybe they are the ones who have like all the shenanigans, and then at the very end, I think this will be I do think that by the end of each episode, they can end with maybe like a fantastic like family get together at their dinner table. And they would reflect on what they learned.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So I would assume that like the two kids are probably going to go to non-magic school now, and they'll come home talking about what they learned. Like, here's how we bake cookies, and then the parents are like, "Well, we learned how to drive a car today." So it's like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna say episode 1 is the very beginning is just aggressive magic, right? Yeah. A lot of magic families, and then they do something that is a faux pas, and they lose like 80% of their magic.
They're put on a strict magic ration.
So we're gonna go magic house arrest.
Oh, maybe the house is a character by itself. That maybe the house might have like a its own voice. That maybe the house. That they, kind of like on house arrest, that maybe like the house itself is a character by itself. That maybe like the character might go like, just the house itself, it might say something like, "Hey, Daddy, you're using too much. I'm going to suspend you."
The house is like their warden.
Yeah. Or like maybe magic doesn't work inside the house. So they have to move to this house as their punishment. So like outside the house, they're fine. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that the house talks too. So we're gonna have the house as a character also, but he's not a doctor.
No.
He's a doctor of philosophy.
Doctor family.
House PhD.
All right, where do you want to go with this?
So what I think we should do, because we haven't done like a sitcom on this show, actually.
Yeah, we haven't created one yet.
What I think we need to do, I think we need to come up with a season 1 over story, because I don't think an arc for a sitcom is necessarily speaking, but like, how Arrested Development, the arc is them trying to get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should come up with what the first season entails. And then I think we should just brainstorm some episodes in general. And how I think we should do that, I'm going to go to how Community structures it, where they tend to have an A plot and a B plot.
Mm-hmm.
And they divide their characters so that one episode will be Troy and Jeff, and then Abed and Shirley.
Yeah.
And then stuff like that.
Break them apart,
and so I think we just kind of like pick and choose. So like the dad might be learning how to drive a car with his teenage son. And they have the awkward interaction at the DMV while the mom and Uncle Vamp are trying to get like Social Security cards or something, maybe.
Yeah, love all that.
But the DMV's not, but the Social Security office isn't open during nighttime hours.
They don't understand that.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say is a solid arc for season, like the season one? Like, so they lose their magic. They learn how to get along without magic.
What if this is them being on bail while the case against the dad is being built up?
Okay.
So they're like, we're putting you on a ration until we can figure out, and the end of the season is like the court case or the trial or something.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So the whole thing is going over a trial.
Yeah.
So court ordered. And then the season ends with them, like, I guess, the ability of getting their magic back.
Right? I think so.
Yeah.
Or at least a sentence being handed down.
Yeah. So do they win?
Well,
they win a case.
What I was thinking is that maybe like the only ones who will not be able to use the magic is maybe like the parents, but maybe
that's not bad.
But maybe they can keep more. That they can at least have their children be capable of using magic because they had nothing to do with the trial.
No, I like that a lot. And if they can't use their magic, which means they're going to have to constantly ask their kids to do stuff for them. Yeah, I think that's really. I think that's actually a lot better. So yeah, the kids can still do magic, but all adults can't.
Right.
Or can the uncle?
I'm sure the uncle can still.
Okay.
He can, but he's so old he just doesn't feel like putting the effort in.
Yeah.
He talks in like old English.
Yeah. So and I'm assuming that the neighbor is going to constantly take the dad somewhere and show him how humans do things, like grilling meat.
The neighbor is a single father and his like son or daughter. So the kid hangs out with the kids, and the single father is constantly trying to show Mr. Malfoy, like he's trying to teach him how to grill on the grill.
Yep.
He's trying to take him out to a baseball game. Are we setting this in the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would also be a good idea. And you know what? I think it would be a good idea that maybe the neighbor has maybe like a son or a daughter that maybe one of the main children maybe starts to have a name for. So it might do something like, I'm magical, but I'm actually in love with this non-magical person, and it could have like its own little arc.
Yeah, because the dad is kind of like not cool with non-magic people dating magic people.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
So so the neighbor is a single father of like 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the oldest boy of the neighbor is dating the girl, like the magic girl.
There's at least that like pursuit between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters, which I think is a really
perfect.
Yeah, I think that's great.
We'll have like recurring and single appearance ones, of course, like the principal.
But that's going to be an easy way of like this and this, this and this, this and this. Okay, so the whole season is the parents not being able to use magic, but everyone else is, and they're jerks, but not really, like lovable jerks.
They are not naive.
Yeah,
they're just aloof. Yeah,
yeah, I love that.
So I was thinking, in order to keep, I'm feeling real strong on the Arrested Development thing here. Yeah. What if the dad is on trial for like conjuring cash?
Oh, cool.
He's like,
he does like an illegal magic.
You have money.
Ooh.
We have money. Why are you making coins?
I like that.
Because I can.
Yep.
Never got anybody else in trouble.
So
illegally... And then we have a statement about I don't know, the U.S. Treasury. Like, they print money every day. Why can't I just conjure money?
That's funny.
Well, that's because they're the government, Dad.
So we're going to say illegally printing money.
I like that a lot.
Magical misappropriation.
And it's like, you guys don't even use money, use coins. It's like, well, the humans need money. I like that. Okay. What's their initial sentence? So, they're waiting for a court date, right? So so this episode's going to end with the court.
Yeah. And I think that ends with the sentence being handed down and them being magically like bound or something.
Which means at the end of episode 1, it's the parents being arrested. Episode 2 starts with them being bailed out.
Or at least the first episode covers that.
Yeah.
Like how Arrested Development starts with them being arrested on the boat and then he's in prison for the rest of the show.
There could be a very funny scene with like this magic family not knowing what a non-magic prison's like, though. Like he's like, I've done my time before.
Or they get arrested by the mundane government.
Yeah, or they're sentenced to a mundane prison.
Oh man.
So it's like, look, I've done my time in magic prison, but this place is crazy. Like, you gotta make your own beds here.
Sure.
Oh man, and you know what? I think when the parents are in the regular like non-magical prison, that maybe one of them actually used magic while they were in the cell, and maybe someone saw it happen, and then that could be like just a little hint that is going to lead to a second season that at the very end that person might try to expose them.
Descendants of the witch hunters.
Like a little cliffhanger.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. Like they're in prison making magic hooch.
They're like, oh, this is terrible. Wine glass.
Yeah, it's like now it's Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to a non-magic prison now.
No touching.
All right, I like that. That's cool.
I'd say they spend the first third of the season in holding, like in prison.
Oh, and the kids are by themselves with like the grandparent.
The uncle. They convince the authorities that the uncle is a suitable guardian for them, and so the end of the first act of the season is the parents getting out, and then the kids realizing, oh right, well hey, you just got out of prison, so I guess we have to take a look. We have to watch after you.
Yeah, that's cool. So the first third of the season is the parents in prison and the children learning about non-magic stuff.
Going to school
through the lies of Uncle Vamp, where he's like, "You guys don't know humans will just kill and eat vampires and stuff like that." So he's obviously an old curmudgeon.
Why is the food always so bland? Wait, what do you mean? No, we're not allowed to have garlic in the house. Yeah, I know. My parents don't like the way it makes me smell either.
And every time the old vampire like lies about something, the house calls him out. And he's like, "That's just not true. That's not true." So like I like the uncle and the house being like frenemies.
What if we treat the house more like an AI, like a magical AI, where you have to address a smart house, but you have to address the house like house.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Tyler was saying. Yeah. All right. So the house is equal to an AI, like a magic AI. Yeah. I like that. So do you want to work on a couple episodes?
I think, we should have a few episode concepts.
All right. So obviously I think one episode is them having to learn how to work a car.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel like they would just have either a chariot with fake horses or a dragon.
Man. That's in the second act.
I think it'll be pretty funny if we also include an episode. I think it'll be funny if we include an episode where maybe like the parents and their kids are at the DMV, and the whole episode would just be in that one location. It would be kind of like Seinfeld in a way.
Yeah, a bottle episode.
Of them waiting
almost
in line
nothing happens,
DMV.
but they just have like their own. Yeah, and and the parents is all like, "Oh man, if we could use magic, we could easily get through this whole thing."
And the one's like, "Just use magic for us," and the kid's like, "No, you guys got to learn." Okay,
they can have like their own shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a car sale. We have the DMV thing. What are some other things like grocery shopping?
Grocery shopping, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. In Act 1, we could have the kids going to school.
But maybe at the grocery store one, maybe one of them will be freaking out over seeing garlic in the produce section.
Garlic,
like,
and then they
will be having a meltdown, and they're just smelling it, and yeah.
Are we saying the 20...
And then maybe they encounter like the silver. Then maybe they would find like silver somewhere.
Yeah, I love that. And then maybe they come across like dragon fruit, and they go, "That's not a real dragon fruit."
You call this dragon fruit?
Yeah.
Are we doing a 22 episode season?
I say 20 for right now. 22 is cool, but
22. I say 22 because that seemed to be the standard order issue order for like Arrested Development season 1 had 22.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, that sort of thing. They had 22. Fair.
Okay, what are some other things that humans do that magic people do not do? They could take a flight somewhere, like on a plane.
They have a camping episode. They go on vacation camping with their neighbor.
Yep, camping.
Oh yes, camping.
School dance. That's always one. The chaperoning.
Oh yeah, school dance.
That's in season 3. That's in the third act because that's going to be close to the conclusion of the Crush storyline, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. So move that into third. Tyler, what are some other things that non-magic people do that magic people don't do?
I think another one would probably have to be like also like going to the gym or getting coffee.
Yeah. Having a Starbucks experience.
They will be all like, "What is this contraption? What is this delicious drink?"
I'll take your finest cup of grog. What is it?
They drink grog. They drink grog.
What's like the mythical concoction? The mythical brew. What's that called? It's not grog or
grog is like pirate drink.
Oh, what's the mythical drink?
Ambrosia. That's like the Greek immortality drink.
That's a green.
It's
kombucha.
Pumpkin juice.
Pumpkin. Give me your favorite. Give me your best cup of pumpkin juice. I like that. The coffee grocery shop. I like the gym thing a lot. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
Camping's gonna be great. What about going to the movies? Just not understanding what a movie is.
General pop culture.
I was thinking about that too.
Integrate.
Yeah.
That can be in the first act with the kids getting integrated at school.
Yeah, I think another good one is probably one at night where they watch a fireworks show.
Perfect.
Well, the 4th of July special.
Also trick-or-treating.
Yeah. I think another good one would have to be a Christmas special.
Yep.
They have their own wizard Christmas.
They will be... Yeah. Like, they would be going like, Who are these elves serving this fat man wearing a lot of red?
And they got to get their neighbor to come over and show them like the traditions of an actual wizard Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't eat this stuff on Christmas.
So this seems to be taking place during like starting in like March and going through summer. But they're in kids.
It would be cool if it's the whole school year.
Whole school year. Okay.
Yeah, like starts in like September.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then ends in like June. I think that's that's great.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe like the firework episode would be for like a New Year's special.
Yeah, that's cool.
It follows from January 1st to the end of the year, and the reason that they get arrested in the first episode is because they had to wait for the new year to start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now let's just wrap up on like a family holiday episode at the end of the
I love that
season.
So it starts with them with some kind of fireworks. Is that what we're saying? Not being able to wait.
If we do this, then the fireworks episode can be in the middle somewhere.
I thought you were saying that would be a good way to start.
Oh, it could be.
I think a good way to start. I think it would be best if it was kind of like 3/4 of the way of the year, and then it would end within halfway of the next year.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
It's like a normal school year.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. Yeah,
I mean I mean, that's kind of like the usual thing when it comes to TV shows. Like when you look at like Seinfeld, Modern Family, because they usually like to have like their good sitcom runs to go from like kind of like 3/4 of the way of the year all the way up to about like midway of the next year. That's kind of like the use.
Yeah, I mean that obviously covers almost every holiday as well, so it's easy to have all those inside that.
Yeah,
because nothing happens in August ever. Okay, so what are some other things that this family is going to do that might?
Oh, and I forgot to ask you, where would this house be located? Would it be located in the United States or would it be in England?
That's a good question. I'm going to say United States.
Me too.
Only because I don't know a lot of stuff in England. But I'm going to say United States. I think that's funny if they go to Cleveland or somewhere just boring.
What is this hellscape?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Toledo.
You know what? I think it'll be good if it's in Texas, maybe.
Texas actually would be cool.
It's not bad.
Yeah. All right. I like that. It's in Texas.
It's in Austin, so you can be weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're about the hour mark. I'm going to give the people a refresher of what we're doing here.
Go ahead. Recap this thing.
Hi, everybody. I didn't see you there. My name is Dylan. This is Zach. We're joined this week by our friend Tyler Shelton of Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. And this is Talking Upstream, where Zach and I have some nobodies. You can see at the top of the whiteboard. Use the whiteboard and our own creativity and occasionally input from our guests. Thank you, Tyler, for this week. To bring 2 ideas to the board. We choose one. And we develop that idea into something that hopefully we can build upon later. This week, we brought the ideas of a spider-hosted talk show and a sitcom about a wizard family losing their magic, which is the one we're developing right now. And we've come up with this fish out of water story about a family of magicians in the vein of Arrested Development, where they are suddenly thrust into having to live a mundane life in the 90s in Texas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I'm liking this.
Yeah.
And I think that
I'm liking it too.
Yeah, I think us hitting like a lot of 90s tropes also will kind of feed into some of the things, like having that one weird neighbor that's always looking over. Tyler, being a kid of the 80s and 90s, what is some of the 90s sitcom tropes that you saw kind of recurring after show.
Well, I think one thing that's just always been like a very common thing is that there's always that oddball neighbors, like when you got like the neighbor from Seinfeld, Cosmo Kramer, where he always has like his own little running gag where he just opens the door and just walks straight in and he has that running gag. Then you got like Home Improvement where you got just like neighbor that you can only see right here. So I think, that's always been like a very common trope in comedy shows back in those days. And there was also kind of like the angsty teenagers in that family. And I think another very common trope in sitcoms is that the father is always, even though that they're kind of like doofy fathers, but they are like good quality dads.
Yeah. Completely agree. What were we going to say?
You know who was a big deal in Texas in 1992?
Who?
Ross Perot. Their neighbor's a huge Ross Perot fan.
Love
this is taking place in September of 92. It's just before that election. We can have some really fun kind of bits in there with that.
Yeah, love that. What are some other popular things in the 90s that we can kind of touch on? Like, let's just say that
Nintendo.
The kids throw a house party because the parents are out doing something.
House party.
With a magic house.
Yep.
So house party is the beginning of the third part.
The third part?
Yeah, because I feel like that's... I guess...
I figured it would be in the first act so that they can establish who their friends are at
school.
Yeah,
you're right. And also since the parents are out. So, yeah. So we're
because the parents are in jail.
Yeah, so there's obviously the house party.
Where are your parents? We live with our uncle. Our parents are in jail. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. That's actually another trope that there usually is in those sitcoms is that there's always that one oddball family relative, and that's kind of what the Uncle Vamp is.
Yeah.
And then there's usually like at least like one character that you don't see but you can at least hear them, and that's kind of like what we got with the magical lizard that is just gonna be in the garage. Like you might see it might be a little running gag that you might just see someone like, give me that is not a toy. And then maybe like another one is like, you would see flame comes through the door.
Another classic gag of this genre, not this genre, but like the 90s fish out of water, is the family members that come visit that do not understand their new world.
That's in the third act, towards the end, I would say.
And that's always in the third act, and it's always like the family that we now know has to defend the way that they used to hate.
And I just had an idea. At the end of the second act of this first season, the parents are found guilty, sentenced to house arrest, and they're assigned a parole officer who stops in on occasion and surprises them. Magic parole officer who just like has to interface with the house and be like, tell me if they've been following the rules. And
he's like a real Carl Winslow fellow. Yeah, I like that. Magical PO.
I like that. And maybe this guy, he gets along with the children.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's great. Dude, I like the house party because once you said that is such a classic cliche of like, parents are home, let's throw a party, don't break anything.
The precocious daughter takes people out and it's like, no, we have our dog in the garage. We have our dog in the garage because he's not allowed out.
I love dogs. Can I see?
No, but you can feed him this. And she gives him like a steak.
And she opens the door, fire comes out. And it's like, oh, that's also where my dad keeps
We left the car running.
Oh, I love that.
And even like the side characters, and even like the side not so recurring characters, they would also have something of an odd interaction with the magical AI Haus.
Oh yeah,
maybe like maybe the characters, they will be going like all the regular people who are non-magical, that they're going like, whoa, this is some incredible technology you have. You must be rich. And they're all like,
our money got confiscated by the bank.
Yeah, maybe
Mom and Dad were printing their own money.
Maybe the neighbor loves hanging out their house because of the magic house.
Is he just convinced that they like work for the government and it's all tech?
Yeah.
Or I kind of like the idea that he's in on it.
Oh, he just knows it's magic?
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that's cool. And he still hangs out. Yeah. So the neighbor knows everything. Yeah. So he's in the know. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some more things that hit normal 90s sitcom tropes?
So the last two episodes need to be a two-parter, which has a pretty substantial turn on the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that. I do feel like that when it comes to the last two episodes, which is going to be more kind of like a part 1 and part 2 thing, is that I think one of the main tropes of a part 1 and part 2 of a finale is that they usually have like the main plot, and you got a subplot that is somehow connected with that main plot. So maybe it can be something like maybe the children, maybe they found something where it might be like a loophole that is going to help their parents be free.
Yeah, that's cool.
But maybe it didn't go accordingly.
There's something there.
Yeah, I like that. I like the kids having a storyline.
Yeah,
like what you said, that ultimately kind of connects with the parent storyline, that they all kind of help each other out, and that obviously builds the family connection as well.
I like the idea that it might result in a reduced sentence.
Yeah,
but it doesn't eliminate it entirely. So that way, they're still on a budget for the second episode.
Exactly. Other 90s tropes.
But that's all the more. Yeah. But I think that's all the more reason that the kids are going to be now fully capable of using their magical powers, but just not their parents.
I like that.
Like, I'm pretty sure. I think the kids that their powers are hindered for most of the season, but when it comes to the finale, since they were able to prove something, that maybe that they're now fully able to use all their powers, but just not their parents.
Yeah, that's cool.
PTA meeting is almost immediately after they get out of match jail.
Yeah. PTA meeting.
Learning how to do a car.
Girl Scout cookies. I think that's always
extracurricular activities. The son joins band.
Oh yeah,
or sports.
Yeah, a sport.
He tries sports, and physical stuff is not for him. So he joins the marching band as like a baritone sax player.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it'll be a good idea that maybe the son, because I mean, when you think of magical creatures, especially like when it comes to like vampires, they're actually really, really strong. So maybe like maybe the son, he turned out to be like a really great track and field kind of athlete, but maybe he's not allowed to because a lot of the stuff seems to be inhuman. But maybe he somehow found a way to not use so much magic that he is able to like showcase that he's at peak human strength to the point that he's not going to show any magic.
I definitely
and maybe at the very end of the season, maybe a talent scout finds him and they're going like, "Hey, you're at peak human strength. How about we give you a scholarship to college?"
So I like the idea of them being superhuman as far as strength goes, but I feel it's actually maybe more clever to have the daughter try to join like the wrestling team because she's also strong. And
That's
the son is like, I'm not going to try to use my power. And maybe he just doesn't get along with the boys for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's why he joins band.
How old are the kids?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the son is like 15, 16, so he can help the parents learn how to drive, and the daughter's like 12.
Yeah, the son is like 17, like he's a senior.
Okay.
And I say the daughter's a freshman.
I like that.
Which is 16?
13. Wait, what?
Freshman in high school?
I was 12 going on 13 as a freshman.
I think at least like maybe like the son could be like a junior, so he will probably be about like 16 or 17, and then the daughter will be like a freshman, so she will be like 15.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Because if he's going to be like trying to date, he would need to be 17 or 18 for that not to feel weird. Because I don't want to see 15-year-olds kissing. That's never.
No.
Yeah. So I feel like if the son is 17 and the daughter is 14, that's fine. But I like the senior and the freshman. I think that's cool because like I would say like in wizard schools they don't have things broken down like that.
Yeah.
So now in regular school, what do you mean I'm in a different class than you? It's like well, you guys are like less than because you're with the younger ones.
Well, your homeschooling didn't really cover some of the topics we need covered, so we had to put you in this grade. Yeah.
It's like, but we've always been the same class for everything. It's like, well, that's not how it works.
It's not how it works this time.
What are some other?
And so I think. I'm sorry, but I do think that the parents need to be either like maybe in their early 40s or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Early 40s, mid 40s, somewhere around there.
Yep.
At the end of the first act, the parents get their bail is paid by their family members, and we can reintroduce them later on in the show, and that's how they get back to the house.
Oh, cool. Wait, you know what also happens around the same time? No, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, but I was also thinking that maybe the Uncle Vamp, because vampires are usually meant to like live for a long time, so maybe their uncle is maybe like 200 years old, but he looks like that he's probably like about 70.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Played by Abe Vigoda.
Constantly.
But like Good Burger, Abe Vigoda.
Do you know also what happens around this time in the world? The internet. The internet starts.
Yeah.
So imagine like wizarding families trying to understand the internet, getting those AOL CDs in the mail.
They keep sending us these. I think these are coasters.
Yeah, I don't think so. Why are they shiny? All right, so the internet. That's obviously an episode because that's like chat rooms. That's like 900 phone calls, like the call me now.
Yeah,
that lady with the
Cleo.
Yeah,
Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo. Yeah,
I think she's in prison now.
She should be. She's robbing people.
Ooh. Yeah.
You know what? I think it'll be a good idea if they have like a recurring character. It's not like a main character, but it will be kind of like a side character that they could probably like have a pet owl that is used for communicating with their family and friends.
Oh, cool.
Maybe this owl would have like this owl might have it like its own little running gag. Maybe it's blind and so it might run into the glass window.
It's America, but it's not Britain, but it's America. So the bird is like a pigeon.
It's an eagle.
Yeah.
Dude, eagles are nasty.
They're mean.
Yeah, they're filthy.
Oh yeah, they are. But yeah, I think I do think that whatever bird that they're gonna have, that maybe this bird, it will just have like its own little running gag that maybe it's blind or maybe it's just dumb and it just runs into the window.
Yeah,
but then they would get like mail that way.
I like if it were, say, like it doesn't want to enter a window, so it just sits outside and just screams until they come outside to get it. It's like, what is that? Like, oh, I guess your owl's here. What are some other 90s tropes you can think of?
Man, I have like obviously any school thing. I had the kids playing hooky with the neighbor kids. Like they like steal a car so they go on a road trip.
Yeah, I like the hooky. That's always a good episode.
Actually, especially in 90s Texas, football is a big deal. So maybe the kid. So yeah, maybe there could be like another special episode about like the Super Bowl or something, and so maybe like the family is going like. So maybe the family is all like, "What is this Super Bowl? Is it like a big massive bowl that you put a ball in?"
One of the. Sorry, Tyler. One of the big feels episodes is set at the homecoming game.
Yeah, homecoming.
It's an entire episode taking place in the homecoming game where we pursue everybody's like emotional arcs for a minute.
Yeah, I love that. And like the parents could chaperone the homecoming dance. That's why they're there. And the girl maybe is on the football team.
The homecoming two-parter.
Yeah,
she's on the football team.
Oh yeah,
yeah, breaking boundaries.
That. Yeah. Okay. So we have the parents in prison for the first third. Which a lot of the gags obviously can be there. So that's like them going to prison and...
So we hadn't originally decided to do this. I laid out a 22 episode kind of like just 1 through 22 and then split it into 7 episodes for the first, 8 for the second, 7 for the third.
Yeah, perfect.
And so far, it's kind of following a natural progression right now. We've got parents get arrested for magical misappropriation in August. Mm-hmm. Kids get to use the house. Uncle arrives. They settle in. Mm-hmm. Kids start school. Kids learning pop culture. Kids play hooky. Kids have a house party. And obviously, there are adult stuff going on in this too, but primarily I think the focus in the first act would be on the kids.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the parents getting their bail paid by the family members and coming home.
Love that.
Second act, in episode 8, parents have to get legal identities in the mundane world. They have to learn how to drive. There's a PTA meeting, and they get enrolled in extracurricular activities. Mm-hmm. So the first half of the show takes place pretty much within those first 2 or 3 months of school.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
11 and 12 are homecoming game and homecoming dance episodes.
Which is like the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then there are 2 blank episodes. And then episode 15, which is the last of the second act, the parents are found guilty and sentenced to house arrest, and they're assigned a parole officer.
That's great.
And then third act, I don't have something for 16, but then baseball game, camping, 19 is blank, and then family members visit from the magic world. The family realizes how much they've changed. And then the 2-parters where the kids somehow are alerted to a legal loophole that might help their parents out. And that's a 2-parter at the end of the show.
And maybe the parole officer guy helps them with that.
Yeah. We realize he's not such a bad guy. He's just a professional.
Yeah, love that. One thing that we have not touched on is classic 90s tropes of sitcoms is the PSA.
The very special episode?
The very special episode.
But it's a magical, very special episode.
Yep.
Where they get addicted to like dark magic or something.
Some kind of magic drugs.
Sun tries dark magic.
Yeah. It's like, here's why you don't get it. Yeah, so we have to have at least 1 to 2 PSAs. And then we have to have that one.
Overdoses on caffeine pills. Like Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
Well, I mean, like, I do think that maybe like this 2 special ones would have to be a Halloween and a Christmas.
Yep.
Episode 13 is Halloween.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's right after homecoming.
Yeah. But they also have to have that one episode where, like, a kid at school dies. You know the one sad episode where, like, the parents have to teach the kids something
Miranda faints when they're making a music video.
Well, there needs to be that.
For all you Lizzie McGuire fans.
Not one here. But there has to be that one episode where the parents, like, console the kids and then teach them, like, hey, life is actually hard.
The dragon dies.
No.
The dragon gets hit by a car.
No.
Yeah.
No, the dragon gets hit by a car. It's like, oh, he broke a nail.
Actually, maybe it could be their Uncle Vamp who maybe had a stroke.
But like the vampire version of one.
Yeah.
A vampire stroke?
What would happen to a vampire that could be accidental?
Their fangs falling out.
But like that results in a very special episode.
Maybe he gets poisoned.
Or maybe he accidentally slipped and got very hurt by a lot of garlic at the grocery store or something.
They're having a dinner party with their neighbors, and their neighbor brings an Italian dish with a lot of garlic in it, and nobody notices.
Or they serve dinner and they use silverware, and he's like slowly getting sick while eating. He's like, I don't understand. This food's delicious. Is there garlic in here? Like, no, we know who you are. We didn't put garlic in here. And he's like, fine. I just don't know what's going on. But it turns out that he's just been licking on silver.
Is that episode 19? Very special episodes at the end of the season. Yeah, we get rid of the character Uncle.
Yeah,
there's a chance he's gone, but he comes back in season 2.
Yeah, but you know what? The reason why that I thought would be a good idea for the uncle to probably have some sort of like a near-death experience. It would kind of remind you a little bit of kind of like Uncle Phil in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because he actually did have one episode where he had a heart attack and he had to really show to his kids that he's not like the Uncle Phil that they know, that he's still a man, and they had to like understand the concept of life. So I thought that would be like a nice little arc for the children to kind of like understand the way of living.
No, I like that a lot.
Their uncle gets hit by a car. It's nothing to do with vampires.
It's even though he's immortal, he's not indestructible.
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
I don't know.
Right. Maybe not get. I do like what he's saying. Like maybe
I do too.
Have like a splash of like realism to it. I think that's cool. It puts a lot of heart into the characters. And those are always touching episodes too. Like when the kids think they're going to lose a family member, but they come out of it. That's a classic '90s trope.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we also have we also have prom, right? That's gonna kind of have
prom could be 18, or
at
least competing in 19 for their attention.
And
then neighbor kid makes prom in their backyard or something.
Yeah, and maybe we
do a little bit of Boy Meets World.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe
maybe the daughter finds a really great dress for her to have the dance, but then maybe like one of her friends is wearing the same dress, and that friend is having a complete meltdown, and they're like, "No, you're not gonna wear that," and she's all like, "Why not?"
Dude, that is classic '90s sitcom.
She used magic to change the dress, and her friend's like, "What is this?" And she goes, "You can't tell anybody."
Yeah. Maybe they wear the same dress because the other girl, the non-magic girl, couldn't afford the nicer dress. So instead of magic girl changing her dress, she changes the other girl's dress to the one that she should have.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's the double dress thing is a classic trope.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else here?
I need something for 18 because I put baseball game and camping is kind of like the same idea. Like while the kids are camping, the parents are given a chance to go out and enjoy baseball or something.
Yeah. So the last 2 episodes will just...
for the camping, maybe the father and son, they get lost.
Dude, that's
maybe they're probably trying to find some firewood, and then all of a sudden they find themselves, where are we? Then they have to spend the night in that lost area until the daytime.
I love that. And that could even be that weird scene where like say that the neighbor at one point always has to tell the dad, like, hey, you have to have that talk with your son. So while they're trying to figure out how to fish, the dad's having the birds and bees conversation with them. I think that's always great.
Yeah.
And then they get lost, which is classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
So if 21 and 20 are the last 2, and then so you're looking at 118, which is what time of the year? It's like March.
Yeah, I think so.
April. So we always had the classic
right.
April. We always had the classic April Fools.
Oh,
right. There's always that '90s weird April Fools episode or something. And then also maybe Easter, and then maybe since like. Go ahead. What do you got?
Oh, maybe. I think it would be great if we can get like something of like a very maybe the April Fool's one. It could be like a twisted, humorous one. Maybe like the uncle fakes his death and the whole family is in disarray. But then at the very end, he goes like, April Fools.
Yeah, and then the next episode, he actually does get hurt. And it was like, not again.
It's a few episodes later.
Yeah. Another classic 90s sitcom tropes, which we haven't talked about, is the celebrity guest appearance. You know, every big 90s sitcom, there's always like that one episode because like they're losing ratings or whatever, so they have like a celebrity show up. So who was like Seinfeld, right? It was super popular in the early 90s. That might be kind of a cool one to pop in, but they're in Cleveland.
Do you know who would be good, I think?
Who?
David Hasselhoff.
Yep.
I'm looking up highest grossing stars of 92 at the box office. Kevin Costner.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah.
That's Prince of Tides.
Mel Gibson.
Ugh. No.
Robin Williams, rest in peace.
Okay.
Julia Roberts, Bruce Willis, Al Pacino, Steven Seagal, Goldie Hawn, and Schwarzenegger. Those are the top 10.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I also like I like Tyler's pick too.
Danny DeVito, Bob Hoskins.
That's a good one.
Streisand.
So yeah,
Ray Liotta was 100.
Ray Liotta?
Number 100.
Actually, do you know who'd be good? Tom Selleck.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
We could get Selleck.
I like that a lot. All right. Well, Tyler, it actually looks like
it's just because that
no, go ahead.
It's just because that they're in Texas. So I would say that like it would have to be someone who is like a very big Texan, like
Chuck
someone
Norris,
who is very much like a cowboy. Because I think that'll be like I really do think that someone who was such a big cowboy in Texas in those days. I mean, you even got the likes of like
Gator,
Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chris Hedges.
Who's that?
Garth Brooks.
That's Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Yeah, Chris Gaines. Yeah.
Chris Hedges is someone else.
Yeah, I like that. I like Hasselhoff. I like all that. But it looks like, Tyler, we're actually out of time, which is awesome. Usually we plot out a lot of stuff. This is taking on.
We got a whole bunch of stuff written down.
I don't think we've ever used this much of the whiteboard making up the story before. Yeah. So, dude, we want to say thank you so much for being here. Yeah, it was such a blast having you on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love your show. We love your message. We love everything that you're doing. And please, 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 if you're watching this, go check out Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. The guys, he's on top of it. He definitely knows his stuff.
Good takes.
Really good takes. And it's not just, chatterbox, which we can't stand that. You actually dive into histories of things, like the production of things. So it's a very cool thing. So definitely thank you very much. You can check out his podcast. You can check out his YouTube channel anywhere. Coffee with the Bearded Reviewer. That's our friend Tyler Shelton. But until next week, guys. This has been Talking Upstream.
Yes.
That's Dylan over there. I'm Zach. We are Some Nobodies. This story turned out awesome. So feel free to go to somenobodies.com and keep us keep it updated on what we're doing with this story and everything else. And like I said, if you want to come in, you want to help us create some stuff, you can always go to patreon.com/somenobodies. Help us keep this thing going on.
Keep the windows open.
And
is that what it is?
I think keep the lights on.
Keep the food
in. Keep the shades ajar.
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah. But please go check out Tyler Shelton and the Coffee with Bearded Reviewer anywhere. And until next week, guys, we're Some Nobodies. Thank you very much. Thank you to IBM TV. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
We'll be right back.